company. It would be a beautiful thing to happen. You need to see a vision of that. The next speaker, the last speaker of the evening, and I will come up and then we'll go to our VIP party, is Margie Alaprandi.
First of all, what a night! Are you kidding me? How many of you have pages and pages of notes? Like, absolutely incredible. Like, really incredible thinking. Garrett, Sylvia, the whole board, I just want to thank you all. And thank you for being here, y'all. My name is Margie Alaprandi. And I don't know if you know this or not. No one has mentioned this yet. But each of the days and nights have a theme. The theme tonight is celebrating the profession. And so I get to celebrate almost 35 years of, what's happening? Do you see celebrating the profession up there?
35 years.
Yes. Okay, good. Oh, it's moving, y'all. And I'm not moving anything. There we go. Okay. Celebrating the profession. So I'm so honored to be able to close out tonight because this profession has given me, I don't even have words to express the blessings that have come into my life from this profession. And honestly, as amazing as the money is and has been, that's a small part of the true gifts of this profession. So I am not even remotely the same young girl that started this business at the age of 32. And I like who I have become. And it's because of this profession. If you want to win in this business, you've got to develop some grit, some resilience. You got to have compassion. You got to have some thick skin. And you got to be determined not to get jaded, because it's very easy to get disappointed in people when they don't do what they say they're going to do, right? And so you need these things. Steve Jobs says that you cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. My friends, what that means is you can't see it clearly when you're in it. You don't have perspective. And what I hope to do in the few minutes that I share with you this evening is share some perspective, because I do. I've got 34 years, coming up on 35 years in this profession. And I remember the triumphs. I remember that first first six figures. I remember how it feels when you're winning and nothing can go wrong, it seems. And people are crossing the stage and they're yours and you're cheering them on. I also remember the defeats. I remember the doubts, the fears, those I want to quit moments, right? And so with a little bit of perspective that I can offer from my years, I want to talk about all of this. Because you guys, I had so many reasons really to quit through the years. And I actually had reasons to not even get started. Most people would use my circumstances as an excuse not to start. Through the years, products are going to come and go, comp plan changes. I've been through three name changes of the company, for heaven's sake. So management teams come and go, right? And yet I stay. So in retrospect, that's what perspective can give you. In retrospect, I can see the divine purpose. I can connect the dots that I couldn't possibly have seen while I was in it. And everything happens for a reason. And bottom line, when I look at some of the things that were the very hardest, the worst things that I endured, the things that brought me to my knees, the things that made me cry, bitter tears, I look at them now. They were the greatest blessings. You guys, you can't see it while you're in it. So let me just give you a little bit of subtext. My story is that 34 years ago, I was a single mom with 3 little kids. Here we're sitting on my Toyota Tercel. You guys, for the first 3 or 4 years I had kids, I didn't even have a car. So when my Nana got me a Toyota Tercel for $127.65 a month, I thought I had died and gone to heaven because I had a car. So I find myself single. I'm a junior high school music teacher at a crossroad in my life, and I was getting ready to go back to teaching junior high school music. Did not want to leave my kids at home, did not want to miss their growing up years, but I felt I had to do something definitive. Well, Destiny had a different plan, because a few weeks before school started, I happened upon this fledgling company, and I am with them still today. The smartest thing I did was I made a whatever it takes decision. I want to, am I losing my thing here?
No.
Okay. Is it there? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So I made a whatever it takes decision. So that meant that whatever happened, I was going to keep going. I could fall down 99 times on getting up that 100th time. So what that meant in the beginning, because I didn't have money, is that if somebody had a meeting they wanted me to come to, this was a belly-to-belly time, for sure. I would jump in my car, I would drive from Utah to California, sleep in the car, because I couldn't afford a hotel. I would sleep in well-lit hotel parking lots, and then I would throw on a dress, go to a gas station, get dressed, throw in my electric curlers, run off and do meetings. With all of the conviction in the world, I would walk in and say, join me, we're going to become millionaires, right? And I was sleeping in my freaking car. Turns out, I never went back to teaching school. And you know what? Those 3 little kids became 4, and they all grew up in spite of all the mommy guilt, me wondering if I was ruining them because I was away so much building my dream. The bottom line is that they grew up, and what they have achieved in their life, the careers they have, who they became, you know, I look back on, this is perspective, right? At the time, mommy guilt, it's real. But because they saw a mom that was scrappy, that would not give up, who relentlessly pursued her dreams, somewhere along the line, they learned that their dreams matter too. And guess what else they learned? Duplication! So
yes,
I watch these precious people who are my life, and I see these really evolved children, my children, raising them, implanting the ideas that they can be, do, and have anything they want. I have 11 grandchildren. The oldest is 6, right? So anyway, I'm so over the moon about these kids, and I know that decision I made 35 years ago as a single mom, and I remade it every time I had to, stay the course, stay the course. I know that is going to be transferred to them because your children are watching way more than you think. So the hardest thing for me in the beginning really was trying to figure out this home-life balance thing. And mommy guilt is real, you guys know this. You know, I sat down with my kids when I first started the business. I'm like, you guys, I need you to support me. This is not going to be easy. I'm going to be gone a fair bit, but I need you to support me. It's like, yeah. And sharing my vision with them, yeah. Well, when they see, occasionally you just want to jerk your chain. Have you noticed? Yeah. Occasionally. So you're always on the phone. Mom, you're always on the phone. Mom, you're always on the phone. It gets to you, right? So I remember overhearing my daughter, who is now 40. Can you stand it? Who is now 40. And her friend said, your mom is always on the phone. And my daughter, who yesterday was saying, you're always on the phone, you're always on the phone, you're always on the phone, said, yeah, but she makes more money than most daddies. Nice. And one super defining time, I was leaving to go to a meeting, yet trudging off to another home meeting every night, sometimes 2 and 3 in a single night. And my little son Todd, who is now 37, came running out, crying, Mommy, don't go. Mommy, don't go. I stopped the car, I gathered him up in my arms, and what he couldn't see is that I was crying too. I was absolutely exhausted. And I was trudging off to a meeting where the 50 people were promised. There would be 2 if there were 2, right?
Exactly.
So I could have so easily said, screw this. I'm staying home with my kids. But from somewhere inside of me, I said, Todd, please be a big boy. Go inside. Don't cry. I promise you someday I will take you everywhere I go. And so what did I learn in that time? Now, looking back, being fully present, be where you are when you're there. Be fully present with your business when you're present with your business. Be present with the kids when you're with them. Share your vision, travel with them. When I started taking these kids to Eastern Europe, right, with me, or to Southeast Asia to meet the teams there, I would stand in line for hours and hug people. And they got to see how the business was impacting real people, real lives. And they even got asked to sign autographs. They're like, oh, yeah, okay, that's cool. So expose them to the business so that they can see real people getting real impact from you. So if I think about any time when I felt kind of lost or flat or plateaued or just exhausted or over it, right? When I felt those feelings, it was always due to one of 2 things. One, I was either out of touch with my purpose or I had fallen out of a place of service. So purpose and service. If you're feeling frustrated, lost, flat, passionless towards your business, reconnect with your why. Why did you do it? What do you want? It matters. Your heart and your desires are creative power. What is it that you want? Revisit that, reclaim it. There's the day that you get in the business, then there's the day the business gets in you. And they're not always the same day. So revisit, reclaim your vision. Your vision should be so clear and so strong, and it's up to you. Who is it up to have a strong vision? You. You need to be in charge of your own vision and deepen it and strengthen it, because it should have you leaping out of bed in the morning raring to go. So if you feel fear also, it's because you're making it about you. If you stay in a place of service, you will not feel fear. When your life purpose and your business purpose, write this down, when your life purpose and your business purpose align, you are unstoppable. I had a really cool experience a couple of months ago. I was on my way to India, and it was also International Women's Day. And so I was reaching out to a bunch of people, trying to get them, telling them about this amazing thing that a few of us, raise your hand if you are a part of Women United for Change. Woo-hoo! We just came together as direct selling women, and we started a philanthropic organization that to date we've raised $2.2 million, and we've helped over 40,000 women. Woo! Woo! International women, right? Because we wanted to pay it forward. So International Women's Day, I'm calling everybody, okay, so what we do is we elevate women's lives. We help them, step into their power. And then also, I was reaching out to people to help open doors because I was on my way to India. And I heard myself saying, well, I'm watching these women, they get elevated. And like this one woman that's just doing so well in India, and her little daughter watched her speak on stage, and she saw our CEO who's been in Forbes, and she's like, can I be like that, Mommy? Like this is, and I realized I was telling the same story. My business and my passion project have the same pitch. Yeah. I am on purpose. So one of my very favorite stories, right? So sleeping in my car, scrappy, doing whatever it takes. I learned, and this is a quote by Bob Proctor, that your business is very much like planting a garden. There's a sowing season, a time to plant. There's a reaping season, a time to harvest. They are not in the same season. You cannot plant a little garden and then hover over it. Grow, right? Isn't that what you do? I mean, I know people that have 2 people on their team like, what do I do to get them to move? I'm like, move yourself. Keep going yourself. Recruit, bring people in. So anyway, I get invited to come back to do a meeting in New York City. And at the time, I now could afford to stay in hotels. But this was like in 1991. And it's a big deal. I'm from Utah. New York City, big deal to the Utah girl. But I am ready. I am so prepared for this event. So we jump in, I jump in the taxi. An hour later, we're just lost. And they didn't even have the big Motorola brick phones. Like, there was nothing, no way to communicate. So I finally walk into this meeting. People are irritatedly fanning themselves. I know that no matter what I do, there is no retrieving this audience. Right? It's not happening. So I get up to a pretty brief presentation. At the end of the event, a Russian gentleman came up to me, shook my hand, and he said, "I am taking this to Russia." And I'm like, great. At this point, I don't listen to people's words anymore. I was waiting for their actions. And then within a few weeks, a couple months, I started noticing these Russian names showing up on my printout. And there were more and more of them. Pretty soon, there were Irina, Valentin, Pizalevsky, Igor, Svetlana, on, all these names. And pretty soon there were pages and pages and pages. So my friends, I decided that I would order the full downline printout so I could see how many people were all Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, like places I couldn't have found on a map before I built this business. So I ordered the whole downline printout. Do you remember the green and white paper, the bifolds, perforated edges? So it came to my door in a giant box. I'm like, whoa, this is a good sign. As I watch another zero come on the end of my check. So I pull this thing out and plop it up onto the counter, flip it over. You guys, 500,000 names, 500,000 names from one meeting. There is a sowing season and a reaping season. They are not in the same season. All those meetings I went to that nobody showed up to, right? All those times I slept in my car and went, doing my best, one foot in front of the other. Jesse said it, like everybody has talked about, 1 foot in front of the other, just keep moving forward. So, anyway, creme de la creme story. So, a few years ago, I was in Bulgaria. 10 years ago, I was in, it flies. I was in Bulgaria, and all of my Russians, everyone from across Eastern Europe had gathered together. Great event. I'm speaking to a virtual stadium of people the night before the gala event. And I just looked out for a minute and looked at the faces. And I thought to myself, what if I'd quit? What if I'd quit? The next night, they bring a big birthday cake out. It's 1 a.m. These Russian parties go on forever and ever. And they bring in this big birthday cake out. Happy birthday, how long the company's been in the region. And then they invite the children to the stage. You guys, check this out. All of these kids, little kids whose names I will never know, come filing onto the stage. Guys, this is Russia. This is, like in 1991, barely the end of the Soviet Union. I mean, I don't know about you, but we used to hide in bunkers. We thought the Russians were coming, right? And now, free enterprise, and all of these kids. Anyway, it was one of those moments when I thought, I started this business for 4 kids.
That's awesome.
And now look. So, the best thing about this business is who you become and who you help other people become. You can't succeed in this business without growing yourself, and that is the most beautiful part of all of this, right? The stuff stays behind you guys. It's great and fun, and it lets you know you've achieved something, but who you become and who you help other people become, that lasts. So as I mentioned, I've been pretty excited about building in India. I've been to India 6 times, and right out of the gate, in November of 2020, I met the best business partner that I've ever worked side by side with in all of my 34 years. His name was Sanjeev Gupta, and he said yes fast. Napoleon Hill says that successful people in any walk of life make decisions quickly and firmly. The level of dedication and commitment that this man, he just barely had to hear about one of our products. And he's like, oh, I've been looking for this product for 10 years. And he just like, it's uncanny to me that two people could be raised on the other side of the world from each other in such different circumstances and be so alike. We finish each other's sentences. Like, I would be thinking sometimes the level of connection. During the day, I'll be thinking, oh, I got to run this by Sanjeev. We're going to see what he thinks. I trusted him so implicitly. I'd go pick up my phone. I was dictating a message, asking him a question. He's typing the answer to the question I'm asking. I just want you to know the level of connection, right? And there was a time in the business when I probably would have said, when I heard somebody say, oh, and you get to meet so many wonderful people, I would have gone, okay, whatever. Show me the money, show me how to make it, get on board or get out of my way, right? And people would be like, it's all about the relationship. I'd be like, you know what, okay, whatever. But my friends, it really is all about the relationships. I've been to India 6 times. This man has been by my side every step of the way. He had 1,200 people in his group. He was undaunted in going after the business. I was there 6 weeks ago. He accompanied me for 2 weeks and kept pace with me. As you can see, that is no small feat. So, on the 17th of May, after a Zoom, he texted me and said, weird things are happening in my body. And we're going back and forth. He's sending me kind of like a home diagnostic. His blood, his pulse is fluctuating all over the place. I'm like, maybe you should go to the hospital. Then he got normalized. Anyway, bottom line is, he ended up going to the hospital. He was in ICU for a few days. I'm desperately missing this human that I talk to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day. We're in constant communication, even though we're on the other side of the world from each other. He's my age exactly, FYI. And his sister's letting me know how it's going. I get a text from him, I'm going to be released. I'm going to be released. He was up going to the bathroom, came back, sat on the couch. His sister went to the bathroom, came back in. The day of his release, he collapsed on the floor. He was gone. This is last week, you guys. It's all about the relationships. It's all about the relationships of my friends. No one is promised tomorrow. None of this is making any sense to me. And yet, he's communicating with me. He's not gone. And his vision, we will carry on. But of all of the things, all the hard things I've done in 34 years, this is the hardest one. And I'll tell you, I come back to this quote. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backward. I'm in the middle of this one. I can't see clearly. But because of all the experiences I've had that were so hard, that brought me to my knees, but then I had the chance now to look at it in retrospect with perspective, and I can see the gift and the divinity. Second half of his quote here. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in the future. So wherever you are, Sanjeev Gupta, I love you, my dear friend, rest in peace. Wherever you are, my friends, in your business world, your personal life right now, if there's something that doesn't make sense, I want to invite you to trust the process and know that there'll be a day when you'll look back and it will make sense. You guys, we're here for just a few breaths and then we're gone. What I love about this profession is it calls forth your excellence like no other business, no other profession on earth. It calls forth the best. You can become a change agent. Everyday entrepreneurs out changing the world. So I love you. Take it seriously what you're doing. Don't miss a beat. Don't count the revenues and the results today. Just keep going, because there'll be a day when you'll look back, just like I do, at that little 32-year-old woman that started this business all those years ago, and say thank you. I love you guys. Woo! Thank you so much. Woo!
We are our brother's keeper, and nothing is promised to us. What a great way to finish up the evening this evening. What we're going to do now is we're going to go outside as a VIP party. We'll have a toast together.